So, what would you do if something happened in the world and it ultimately affected your ability to sleep? Well, in this new film that we're going to be discussing, it explores that really unconventional yet cool concept. And we're going to jump into the review of that film right now. What's up, everybody, and welcome back to the channel today for another review. Today we're going to be reviewing the film Awake, which is going to be dropping on Netflix June 9th. And like I said, this film does have that really interesting concept of what would happen if something in the world ultimately affected one's ability to sleep. Insomnia to the a millionth degree because you can't sleep at all. Not sleep deprived, but just sleep doesn't exist. And what we see is we follow this character Jill, who's ex-military, where she's realizing something in the world and things around her are not right. But also at the same token, she realized that her daughter may be the key to fixing all of this. So everyone's on a race against time, because with you not being able to sleep, that means at some point your body's going to turn on itself and or just ultimately shut down. And that's what this film does. So it appears that it's some type of EMP or whatever, because all the electronics go out, satellites are falling, so things are looking crazy, and when it comes down to it, you start realizing like, oh no, everyone can't sleep. So people are trying to figure out how to survive, what's the cure, still trying to make sense of like what's happening, and also ultimately trying to protect their mental, because at some point when your body starts shutting down, your brain is basically unwired, and whatever caused this clearly did some reprogramming of your brain. Everyone's just trying to make do of all of this, but at the same time, Jill, she realizes that her daughter may be the key to all of this. So it's a cool concept. It's nothing I don't think I've ever seen before. I love natural disasters or anything that may be involving technology. So when I looked at this film, I said, oh, this screams me. And then not to mention your lead, Gina Rodriguez, who was in Annihilation, who did a fantastic job. I was definitely curious to see, what was she doing in this film? Not to mention somebody I've been growing fond of recently as well is Shamir Anderson, who's in this. So definitely was intrigued by the casting. However, there was some cool moments in this film, but I was not impressed by the acting, and ultimately I was just underwhelmed by the film in general. For the film to be an hour and a half, it felt way longer. And I guess I'm disappointed too, because the concept's so cool and also unique. I just wanted to see something like really blow me away, because even with being disappointed with the film, it still has the idea of building a world around this, because we don't know what got to this point. We don't really know what caused this. And then, it's always the day two thing. Even though, like, this film, they kind of figure out a solution and whatnot. But, like, how do we make that work for others? And, like, again, where do they go from here? And the big issue for me is that I just never felt connected with the characters. There wasn't a level of desperation that really made me concerned or fear for their welllyhood. Like, sure, there was some things that happened that was kind of intense, but it was still like, I don't know, it felt like we was just passing time by. I really wanted to be connected to the way that I really wanted to see them succeed, to a point where I was just like, I don't think anybody's gonna survive this, and that's okay. Sometimes there's not happy endings, and I think that, with having your leads and your protagonists, wherever it may be, you want to feel connected to them, and that's how you really stay invested into the film. But again, like, there was good moments in this film. There was actually some good action towards the end of it as well too, and the visuals was pretty good. But I just felt like overall it didn't come together as good as it could have been. It just really lacked maybe that one ultimate element of either surprise or just that big moment, whatever it may be, and it just wasn't there. And again, the acting performances was just kind of mad to me, But I think that, with the idea of possibly wanting to do something else, like, I'm not really so invested in it. Even though the concept could obviously do something, I don't know, would I be on board for it, because I felt like the ending was just so kind of flat. It was just like, okay, cool, that's over. But a good film that gives you a really good ending or some type of cliffhanger, you want to know, like, man, when's the next one coming out, or what's next after this, you know? And that just never resonated for me. And I think like a good kind of comparison to that is like The Purge, that concept of, you know, them doing that on one day, but how did they get to that point? What's it like the next year? What's it like in another city? And they explored those because you were so interested as to, like, this is such a cool concept of what's happening here. Like, I really wanted to see more of this. And with this is like, this is a cool concept, but I don't know if I want to see more. I don't know. It just wasn't that good. But overall, I think it's a good streaming film. I wouldn't say go to the theaters for it, but it's on Netflix. So if you see it trending, I would say, yeah, totally check it out, because I did not hate the movie. I didn't love it. But if it's there, then I would say, yeah, check it out, and, you know, and see how you feel about it. But I just felt like it just lacked. It just lacked that really big connecting factor. And also the dialogue was just kind of a natural disaster film, folks. You're trying to figure out how to escape, how to survive, how to protect your friends, and whatever. And you're on a roller coaster of a ride. And this one, I felt like we never left the booth. We were just sitting there in the cart, you know. It just lacked that big moment, that big thrill. And, you know, and I think that's really critical in trying to connect fans to a film. But yeah, folks, this is Awake. It's going to be on Netflix June 9th. Totally jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts about this film. And as always, folks, stay tuned, because we got more reviews coming very soon. Thank you for watching, folks.